my amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are connecting from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much and remain blessed. Whenever you look my video, whenever you watch my video, share the video to all platforms. Share it to family and friends. Share it in your WhatsApp group so that people can get information on what is happening in the contraption called Nigeria, mainly against the Biafrans, against the Duduas, against the indigenous people in the contraption called Nigeria. I try as much as possible to set the record straight. I don't preach hate speech. I don't speak against people. I set the record straight. The only important thing I do here is to make sure that the plight of the people remains on the front burner and the world will know the true story of what is going on in the contraption called Nigeria.
It's easier for people to say, oh, they just go in there and do what they like. And they can erode public confidence in the judiciary.
Now, let's go to one of the other practice directions too. It says, no person shall be allowed within the secured perimeters of the court that save the approved court officials, parties, and a number of pre-registered legal practitioners on either side, witnesses, and any other person as may be directed by the judge or the most senior judge in the given circumstances. And goes on to say only the judges, other essential court staff, and security agencies involved in that particular case and their vehicles shall have access to the court premises. Does it look like this is actually targeted at a particular people? Because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's supporters besieging the Federal High Court premises here in Abuja, do you think that it's, part of this inability to contain these supporters that has led to this?
It will be difficult to argue otherwise. I believe that the confrontation between the security agencies and well-wishers of and supporters of Nnamdi Kanu must have informed the decision to come out with this party's direction. So the timing too is equally very bad. It's suspect.
Okay, and I go on to the courtroom proceedings now, where it is that the names, addresses, telephone numbers, and identity of the victims of such offenses or witnesses in the proceedings shall not be disclosed in any record or report of the proceedings, and it shall be sufficient to designate the names of the victims or witnesses with a combination of alphabets. And then it goes on to say that the court will hold its proceedings at any place to be designated by the chief judge, and in the case of the Abuja Judicial Division, the venue for the time being shall be the premises of the Code of Conduct Tribunal. Why will this trial, terrorism-related trial, no longer hold at the Federal High Court, but at the Code of Conduct Tribunal? I mean, it seems confusing.
The first aspect of the provision you just read now, well, is aimed at protecting witnesses,
yes,
so that they will not be molested after they have given the evidence. Sometimes they can even allow them to give video evidence.
Yes,
or
it's listed,
they can have their faces covered so that
the witness to be screen masked.
Absolutely. Then, as for moving to Code of Conduct Tribunal, I think that has to do with space. The typical Nigerian courtroom is not designed for the trial of Nnamdi Kanu, because there are thousands of people who want to witness it. If they move to Code of Conduct Tribunal's premises, they obviously should be able to take more people. But now, you have already barred the people from coming. So there is even the justification for going to Code of Conduct Tribunal is no longer there. Since journalists will not be there, friends and well-wishers will not be there. So why do you need a bigger place?
Very interesting.
So it's very contradictory.
Okay, very interesting indeed. And it says make order as to any electronic devices that will be allowed during proceeding. That means even those who go in, they may not be able to go in with electronic devices in one way or the other, and then it may be difficult for them to take those things inside. Then make order on any other measure that the court considers appropriate in the circumstance. Now, this is giving a discretionary room for even the trial judge to still, give more rules.
Absolutely.
So
And
give more rules.
Absolutely.
So
and
is there no room for abuse in all of this?
Obviously there is, but that is why there are appellate courts. If an high court judge abuses his discretion, the Court of Appeal or the Supreme Court will overrule that judge. But beyond this, as I have stated earlier, the Constitution has already conferred the trial judge with some of this power. So the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court does not have the power to reconfer the same power on them. So it's just a waste of its time.
Now, let's look at the big one. It says the coverage of proceedings under these practice directions is strictly prohibited, save as may be directed by the court, and goes on to say that a person who contravenes an order or direction made under these practice directions shall be deemed to have committed an offense contrary to Section 34, subsection 5 of the Terrorism Prevention Act 2011, related charge against the person. Isn't this
that is very
too much of a kill?
It's laughable. I'm not sure the Chief Judge has the power to create such offense. It is for the National Assembly to create the offense, not for the Chief Judge. The practice direction is an administrative thing. It's supposed to be rule of procedure. The practice direction is an administrative thing. It's supposed to be rule of procedure. It's not to create crimes or criminal offenses. And I mean, it's quite laughable, really. Now,
let's talk about lawyers like you are also journalists at the same time. If you are a lawyer and you are able to find your way into that place, would you say, and something happens now, would you be claiming to be a journalist or you claim to be a lawyer? And if you are arrested by chance and maybe charged, can the judge actually convict you based on what we have read here, considering that you're a lawyer and a journalist at the same time?
Well, I can separate the issues. If I'm a lawyer, right, but if I'm not one of the counsel in the case, I've been excluded by this rule.
Okay.
Yes, because what they are trying to do is to even make sure that lawyers who have other cases coming before the same court will not have to be there. And I think that is one of the reasons they are moving to the Code of Conduct.
Yeah, because sometimes you go to the Federal High Court there, you see other lawyers who are waiting other court cases inside the same courtroom.
Absolutely.
While that court particular
because that same judge that is hearing Nnamdi Kanu's case is also hearing other cases. But now, if they move the judge to the Code of Conduct Tribunal, that will be the only case you will hear there. So there will be no need for other lawyers to go there. I hope you, I mean, you...
I mean, I understand. So
you list your name as a party to the case that the judge is going to hear.
So it's not very clear. We now understand why that the court premise had to be taken away from the federal to the Code of Conduct Tribunal. Yeah. But now, how will the public view the judiciary? Federal to the Code of Conduct Tribunal. Yeah. But now, how will the public view the judiciary? To the Code of Conduct Tribunal. Yeah. But now, how will the public view the judiciary?
The court is further going to cast shadow and aspersion that, look, we've said it. They don't want people to know cast shadow and aspersion that, look, we've said it. They don't want people to know what they are doing there. So it doesn't help the court in the eyes of the public. And it doesn't help the public to see that justice has been done. And those are fundamental issues that, because the court derive their power, their ability to survive on the perception of the people. If the people believe that there are no longer justice in the court, then that is the end of the road.
Yeah, I mean, just before we let you go, the essence of practice directions is what I want you to speak about. When practice directions are issued, what's the fundamental principle behind them? Why do we have practice directions?
Yeah, we have practice directions to fast track and ensure that trials go on unimpeded. Is to make it easier. The cases are hard, but it must comply with the provision of the Constitution. It must comply with the principle of fair hearing. So it's just to make sure that procedurally you know what you are supposed to do as a plaintiff lawyer, defendant lawyer, everybody knows, so that it will not waste the time of the court. You will not say, oh, I don't know. Sometimes too, if you run foul of practice direction, you can get your case dismissed, even though that case has merit. So if you see, some lawyers are very good in procedures. They wait for you to make errors, and they zero in on it, and they win. Even though you have you have a good case. So many good cases have been lost because one of the lawyers does not
violated
understand the practice direction, the procedure. They are rule of court.
Okay, very interesting indeed.
Yeah.
Is there any other one within the judicial chain that can override the powers of the Chief Judge of Nigeria, of the Federal High Court at this moment? For example, maybe the Chief Justice of Nigeria, can he override?
Well, administratively, no. What you can do is to challenge that practice direction in court. And court, even from the Federal High Court there, the court and a judge of the Federal High Court can say, look, Chief Judge, you have gone beyond your power.
Oh, very interesting.
Yes, absolutely.
A court judge can do that. I mean, within the same Federal High Court chain. I'm asking after the power within the judiciary. So the CJN can call the head of the Court of Appeal or even head of the Federal High Court to ask them to amend certain things, or, you know, since it's just practice direction and it's administrative.
You see, it might, well, generally speaking, but most of the time, it doesn't work out that way. It will amount to undue interference.
Oh,
but if a judge is doing something that could bring the judiciary into the Chief Justice of Nigeria can say no.
How about the NJI?
No, that's NJC.
NJC, I mean. Sorry.
Well, if there is a petition that the Chief Judge has violated the Code of Conduct for Judicial Officers, NJC will come in. But like the Chief Judge of Federal High Court has his power to issue practice direction, the President of the Court of Appeal has similar power to do for Court of Appeal.
For Court of Appeal.
The Chief Justice of Nigeria has the power to do for Supreme Court.
Okay.
So everybody has his own level
and
of
it's
power.
territorial, territorial powers,
yes,
and you cannot
absolutely.
go into that of others. Well, we must thank you so much for this enlightenment. Toby Shoni is Arise Judicial Editor and Deputy Director of News on Arise News Channel. We must thank you for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
To also enlighten us on these new practice directions, which a lot of journalists are not happy about. Well, you're still watching the Arise interview. Plenty more still ahead, including the country's new revenue formula that may be coming up if the National Assembly do accept and reviews that law. Stay with us.
Thank you so much for your patience to watch from the beginning to the end. I hope you have learned something from the video you have just watched. The video you have just watched is to bring information to your doorstep and for educational purpose. It is not to demonize anybody. Let us watch continuously and see who can be able to make a sense out of every nonsense we are seeing. We must continue. We move. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. They will kill us. Kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra is here. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please kindly subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you and remain blessed. Bye-bye. See you again.